Välkomna till alla som har anslutit idag till dagens webbinar kring Microsoft 365. Vi kommer att släppa in lite fler och jag kommer släppa in folk successivt. Men då får jag börja med att hälsa alla välkomna till dagens seminarium av Microsoft 365. Jag heter Alexander Pontikis och jag är en av våra produktchefer för Microsoft här på TechData. Och med oss idag har vi också Thomas Kjær Petersen. Jag kommer att byta till engelska ett tag då, så inte Thomas ska känna sig utanför som jag brukar säga. Men han förstår ju svenska också, men kommer att hålla anförandet på engelska. Så vi gör som så att I'm going to hand it over to you, Thomas. And I can say some brief words that after Thomas' presentation, I will also highlight some campaigns around these products. So whenever you're finished, Thomas, I'm going to need just 30 seconds to talk about that. Over to you, Thomas.
Thank you, Alexander. And yes, my name is Thomas. I'm here from Microsoft today to talk a bit about Microsoft 365, of course. I'm keeping it in English, though I do understand Swedish, but it's not always easy for you guys to understand my Danish, so that's why I just changed to English. So today we will be going through a few things. We will be going through the name change within Microsoft 365, both for consumers and also business, and some of the new features that we have added into Microsoft 365. We'll also be talking a bit about why Microsoft 365 is important. And we will touch base a bit on OneDrive, which is a big thing when it comes to Microsoft 365, actually. So first off, I just want to start with a little thing to get us started and thinking a bit. Because why is it important to recommend Microsoft 365, actually? Well, a lot of people, when they go out into stores or anything else and buy a PC, like 80% of them, this is globally, so let's blame the Americans for not being very good at it. They kind of expect that Office is included. They don't expect it to be something that they need to purchase on the side. So why is that then important? Well, it's important to remind your customers that Office is actually not included. It's something you have to purchase on top of your device. So just getting them aware can get you quite far in selling Office to your customers as well. And then when you recommend Microsoft 365, there are certain things that is a good thing to be aware of. Because 50% of people that already have an M365 subscription are not actually aware that they can install on multiple devices, so that they can have it on their tablet, their phone, their PC, multiple PCs if they want. So that's something that people aren't aware of. So that's also a good point to bring up when talking about Microsoft 365. And then 61%, they're actually not even aware that they have OneDrive included. Why am I mentioning this? Well, Microsoft 365 is not only something you can sell for PCs or tablets, it's also something that you can sell for phones in an easy way. Because if you have them in your store, why not try to maximize what they're buying from you? Since Office can be used on both Android phones, iPhones, etc. So you can actually earn a bit of money on their cloud storage instead of them paying to Google or paying directly to Apple. You have the opportunity of getting revenue. And if you are a consumer and you buy our new family pack of Microsoft 365, make them aware that they can actually share it between different users, because 65% of the people already paying for a Microsoft 365 family subscription, they're not even aware that they can share it among the whole family. So I just wanted to highlight a few things for you. So you are kind of getting a few tools. This is our data. And I see we're not doing a good enough job with our messaging, but this just gives you a lot of opportunities for you guys to push a Microsoft 365 sale when you have the customers in there. So let's get into Microsoft 365. Those of you who have been with us for a long time and in this market, you probably already know that we've had a lot of different types of Office for XP 2010, which is actually going into support in October this year. We've had a lot of things happening with Office, and it's 30 years of producing Office apps, the ones that people know and love, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And the latest version was the 2019, of course. But we are actually doing a full change so that Office 365 will now be called Microsoft 365 instead, both for consumers, but we're also removing the Office 365 Business Premium and changing the name on that one. So it's also called Microsoft 365. It's just to align and making a bigger difference between Office 2019 and the 365 subscriptions, because this is where you get even more. Looking at it, with every Microsoft 365 subscription, you get the premium Office apps with Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You get OneDrive, you get Outlook, and there's some more benefits added dependent on what subscription you have, of course. And it works across all your devices, so Windows, Mac OS, iOS, Chrome OS, and then Android devices as well. So let's jump into first, what are our offerings for consumers? Well, we have three different types or three different ways of a consumer to get Office. The Office apps, just to clarify, because we have the Microsoft 365 family, which is for 6 users. We have Microsoft 365 Personal for 1 user, and we have Office Home and Student 2019. That classic apps for where you get Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and it can be installed on one PC or Mac. So what's the main difference here? Of course, you get some more features. So I'll just jump into a very text-heavy slide, but don't start reading. I have a few things that I marked up. So one of the differences, main differences between Home and Student and 365 is, of course, OneDrive. The ability to set up it to back up your desktop, having 1 terabyte per person in the family package. That's a really big difference. On top of that, you get AI to help you create or work even in Excel. There's a lot of different things where AI helps you be even more creative and be even more productive. On top of that, it's for one person, so not just one device as Home and Student is, but it's for one person or 6 persons on all the devices. So they can install it on multiple things that they use. And of course, it works on all, as I said, all devices, no matter what platform they're running on. So Windows, Mac OS, iOS, and Android. You can install it on your phone, your tablets, PCs, desktops, doesn't matter. It works on multiple things here. So just having all your stuff with you all the time and making sure that what you're working on your desktop is always on your phone or your tablet or your laptop. So having that opportunity to just work from anywhere and even logging in online, getting access to all your documents is a really simple way of doing it. For businesses then, well, I kind of alluded to it. We've changed the Office 365 Business Premium, and we've changed that name to Microsoft 365 Business Standard. And of course, we have Office Home and Business 2019. So the difference here is that Home and Business is, of course, as stated, you get Office apps. So you get Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and Outlook for one PC only. With 365 Business Standard, it's for one person on all the devices. You get all the apps, of course, Access and Publisher as well on Windows, but you also get Teams, you also get Exchange, you get SharePoint on top of that. So there's more things added here as well. So a really quick summary. I kind of mentioned that one. You get those premium apps, you get Access and Publisher, you get Exchange, SharePoint as mentioned, and it works on 5 of each. So 5 PCs or Macs, 5 tablets, or 5 smartphones. And you get that 1 terabyte of OneDrive storage included. You also have technical support included for a full year. So if you need any help, call Microsoft. If it's late and you guys are closed, they need help, they can always call us. But this one, you should actually see Microsoft 365 Business Standard as like a gateway tool. So if you have the opportunity, you of course can sell them a CSP solution with Microsoft 365 Business Premium. The main difference here is, of course, you get the same kind of functionality with the same experience. So this is a great tool for somebody that's just starting up, smaller businesses, or somebody that has both business and like working from home businesses, where they just need to get started and have all the opportunities of being like getting into that business vibe. These are the customers that might buy a Microsoft 365 family and also use it for their business, or a personal and use it for their business. But here, what's really important with this one is this is kind of like getting people hooked on this cloud, working with the cloud in Microsoft 365, and then it's an easy step up to actually to sell in a Microsoft 365 Business Premium then, because then you have even more. You have more layers of security built in. You have device management built in. You have all those layers, and you can pay per month instead of paying for a year with Business Standard. So this is really, see it as a way to get people on to a bigger solution and a more flexible solution, which is, that's kind of why we made it. So to get people into M365 as a standard. So let's talk about some of the features and benefits that you get with Microsoft 365. And this is both for consumers and for businesses. The features that we are going through here are some of the latest updates that has been added to a Microsoft 365 account. So of course you get the premium Office apps, as I mentioned before. Premium meaning that they're always up to date, that you have AI built in. So it's just new features will automatically pop in, and AI can help you create great presentations, get your Excels to look great, and also check in Word to see how your writing is going. OneDrive as well, as I mentioned, where you have that 1 terabyte per person if you have the family, or of course 1 if it's business standard, or if it's personal. And that is really great because you can access your files from anywhere. So if you don't even have your PC with you or your phone, you can always log into your account online and get access to your documents. You have Personal Vault. This is, sorry, this is only for the consumer SKUs that we have, but this is a great tool as well, where let's say you have your phone and you're with friends and it's unlocked. You lend them the phone, they actually have access to everything in your phone then. But with OneDrive Personal Vault, all the things that you have that you want to keep extra safe, you can actually put in that extra layer of security. So meaning that you actually have to use your Face ID, if it's an iPhone, or your fingerprint, or a PIN code to log in to get access to those files. And that works on both your phone or your PC in a really simple way. Then you have folder backup and your files on demand, but I'll get into that a bit later. But you also have ransomware detection and recovery built in on OneDrive. So if you are unlucky and you get that email that looks legit and you hit that link, you can always log into OneDrive online and then turn back time up to 30 days, and then you're ready to go and have full control of all your files again. So what are people getting if they buy a Microsoft 365 subscription from you now? Well, of course, they're getting all the premium desktop apps and the mobile apps that they can use. They have AI-powered tool and a lot of creative content already in there. They get Outlook with encryption and more security. You get OneDrive with some of the features that I've already talked about, but there's actually more coming. So we're running a beta on something called Family Safety as of now. Especially for consumers, it's a big thing. Some of you might know about like families security or child security within like a gaming console, where you can control when they're allowed to play, how much they're allowed to play. The cool thing with Family Safety is that it's on all the devices that your kids might use. So you can actually collect everything in one place, like how much time are they playing on their console, what websites are they visiting on their phone, their tablets, their PCs, and set in how many hours they're allowed to be on there. Microsoft Teams, as we're on now, is actually also debuting later this year for consumers as well, where we are trying to kind of push Skype a bit out of the way, because Teams is something that delivers a really great experience. So we believe that will also have a place for consumers on top of that. So let's talk about some of the new features that has been added to the apps within Microsoft 365. So we have added premium creative content. Well, it's kind of in the wording. So if you're working on a presentation with premium creative content, you just have a lot richer library of photos and images to choose from. We went from having around 2,500 pictures and templates to use to having over 8,000 now. They were dropped right here in April, so there's access to a lot more things on top of that. Of course, you still have all the things you can do with latest updates, and you can install it on all your devices. That in Word, we added a new feature called Editor. It's a tool to help you be most precise in how you write. We've added ideas in Excel that helps you. If you put in numbers in Excel, you can actually click ideas and it will come up with suggestions on how to make this most effective if you're going to present it. So it's not about knowing everything in Excel now. This is kind of like a discovery button to help you get even more effective in showcasing, for example, revenue or sales numbers or stuff like that. So it's a really cool thing to help people that aren't that familiar with Excel create even more. In PowerPoint, we added something called Presenter Coach, which is something that analyzes how you talk. So let's say even for a student going up to their exams and they've been working on a project, they can actually just start Presenter Coach and start rehearsing on how are they going to be presenting this. Presenter Coach then analyzes your voice and how you talk. Are you taking enough breaks? Are you pitching enough? Or are you saying too many all the time? Like, it will catch that and say, try skipping all those blockers. So I just wanted to highlight a bit of the creative content that has been added. So if you open up a PowerPoint and you click design ideas up here, the cool thing about PowerPoint and the AI built in is that it actually reads what you're writing. So if you look at this one, you have different years. PowerPoint figures out, yes, that's a timeline. So it adds a timeline suggestion. Again, here it reads solar, wind, tidal, and geothermal heat. It actually finds icons that fit. When you go up here, you can get some great animations, even small little video clips that run instead of having just your standard notification, and you can do a lot of things. So that's actually what we mean with premium creative content. So it's just a lot easier to get great presentations done in a very fast way. And on top of that, let's go into rehearse with Coach. So looking at our Coach that we have, you just click rehearse with Coach, and then it starts up here in your presentation and starts listening to what you're saying. Comes up with suggestions, like try not to use too many like fillers, like So this is something that really helps you present your presentation in a nice and easy way. And again, as it states here, avoid reading your slides. So it will track, are you saying what's just written there? And kind of like giving you good ideas, because you might, if it's already written, why say it then? So that's how Presenter Coach works. Another layer on top of that, and even here, as you can say, try speaking a bit slower, or even try talking a bit faster. Just make sure that your pitch and everything is how it should be, so you won't be too monotone in your voice and not being as effective as you can be. I mentioned Editor before. Editor is also a great tool to get you to be even more precise in your writing. And it works in Word, of course. So if you're writing something and you want to make sure that it's correct wording, it's not just a spell check. It's actually a full sentence check. And it works in 80+ languages. I tried it in Danish. It works quite well. It's a brand new product and it will always learn and always be better, of course, at figuring out what's going on. So I just wanted to show you guys how it works in Word. Like, there's a few things you can do. You can mark up a sentence and right click and then rewrite suggestions. And then you'll get some ideas on how to actually do it best. Or you can click the editor button up in the right corner where it will scan your entire document, find corrections, refinements, figure out, are you concise enough? Are there certain things that you should add or change up to make you even more on point? It also works online as well. So if you're using Word online, again, just hold your mouse over it, get suggestions, really simple. But also if you're just creating a post online on LinkedIn, Facebook, or anything like that, it just makes you even more concise and being even more on point. The cool thing about Editor, it works in Word, of course. It also works online. So you can install it in the new Edge browser, or you can install it in Chrome as well. So it's available for multiple platforms, not only Edge. We've had something called Tell Me for quite some time now when it comes to Office. What's important here with that one is actually that people might say, well, I know the old Office that I have. I know what I have at home. I don't want to relearn a new Office. Well, Tell Me has now been changed to Search. So it's just called the same thing. So in Swedish, it'll be Sök. In Danish, it'll just be Søg. So it's really simple way of using it. Put your mouse up there, write what you want to write. You don't have to be very precise. You don't have to write the exact same wording to get it. So it just helps you do what you want to do. In Outlook, it's a lifesaver for me because just, was it last week we had our National Day on Friday. So on Thursday, it was just a simple way of going up there, writing AUT. Then I had automatic replies and I could turn it on. Really, really simple. No reason for scrolling through different things in the settings in Outlook. Just write what I want to write. A simple way of doing it. Saves you time and finds what you're looking for. Let's talk a bit about Microsoft Teams then. Of course, Microsoft Teams, most of you know it or have some familiarity with it. But one of the cool things about Microsoft Teams is that if you are setting up, for example, for a company, and you are selling multiple Microsoft 365 subscriptions, there's also the opportunity that they actually don't have to have Office per se on every user. The great thing about Microsoft Teams is that if you just have people installing that app, they get access because it has Office integrated. So anything you share on Teams, they can just view within Teams. It's built on SharePoint. So it's like a skin on top of your SharePoint where you can share certain parts of your SharePoint in Teams. We know that using Teams actually makes people consume more of the content than if you just put it on SharePoint. Because people are more used to having that app-like feeling or social media feeling that you have on Teams compared to a SharePoint site. Has built-in security and works on mobile, Mac, PC, and everything. There's always something here. And of course, just a simple way to keep costs down on both phone subscriptions and everything else, because you just use data. You can chat through that one. You can make calls. You can set up meetings in a really, really simple way. But there's actually more benefits within Microsoft 365. So especially for consumers, this one is important. You actually get added technical support for Windows 10 as well. So we've always had support for Microsoft 365, the Office apps, but now we've added support for Windows 10. So again, if you have a customer that buys Office from you and you guys are closed, they need help with their PC, they can always call Microsoft then. It's a part of that subscription. This is just that extra layer. It's supposed to be an added security for your customers to get even more done and feel even more secure and get help if needed. And of course, you can share it. You have that desktop and publish your app on PC, and you get those 60 minutes of Skype included. So one of the new things that we've changed as well is that when you buy Microsoft 365 on Windows, you get everything, of course. You get that full feature set that we kind of already went through with the premium Office apps, where you get that premium creative content, you get access to the latest updates, you get Outlook, you get AI built in, you have PC folder backup, which I'll touch on really quickly, ransomware protection and recovery, Skype and ongoing support, and support for your Office apps as well. What if you're not a Windows user then? What if you're Mac OS or iOS or Chrome OS or Android? Well, on Mac OS and iOS, you get everything except OneDrive PC folder backup. That's a technical thing. It only works on Windows as of now, hoping we have that option going. We have PC access and publisher, of course. That is only PC, and ongoing technical support for Windows 10. Why would they need that? Since they are running macOS and iOS. So they actually get the full feature set within the Microsoft 365 subscription. And on Chrome OS, it's the same experience. And again, on Android. So one of the things is that doesn't matter which platform you're on anymore, you're still getting that full feature set from Microsoft 365. So it's just something to push that story a bit further, no matter what you're selling out there. Office gives you a great experience, no matter the platform. Yes, there are a few things, but again, Chrome OS don't need tech support for Windows 10. And of course, we have certain things that only work on Windows 10, but it's only backup and those two apps, Publisher and Access. So really short, some of the key benefits that we added, of course, is Editor, where it works online, it works in Word, so you can use it in both the new Edge browser, Chrome, and of course Word. You have those premium creative templates, so you have even more templates when you want to begin something. You have that premium creative content, and now you have technical support as well. Not only for the Office apps, but also late at night, your customers don't have to call their kids or call their friends to get support. They can always call Microsoft as well. Really quick, let's jump into why Microsoft 365 then. We've covered some of the features, but why is that actually important to sell? Well, let's just get this running. Office helps you bring all your ideas to life, having AI to work with you, so it's simple and an easy way to work with it. Protect what's important, having that ransomware protection on your OneDrive, making sure that you can back up everything from your desktop, for example, using Outlook to organize your time and working together in a simple way. And even for families, it's a great tool for kids just starting up learning how to work. And because putting stuff into PowerPoint, that creativity with getting AI to help. So it's just, it works on families as well. I just want to talk a bit about OneDrive here before we get too much into everything else. OneDrive is really important because OneDrive is kind of the thing that makes Microsoft 365 work. It's what drives it. It's what makes sure that all your documents are on all your devices. It is actually what makes sure that when you're working together in Office, that you can collaborate. So it's quite important when we're talking about Microsoft 365. So some of the universal benefits that we have, of course, is that 1 terabyte of cloud storage per person, PC folder backup, I've mentioned it a few times, and the opportunity to restore your files. Another thing is that we added expiring sharing links. So when we launched Microsoft 365, I was a part of getting an introduction to it quite early, and it was marked as highly confidential when I was briefed on it, meaning that for me to even get access to these materials before launch, I had to go through my OneDrive for Business to check who was I actually sharing with, create a separate folder that was not visible for anyone else, for the 12 or anything else. So it was only me that could see what was on it. What I found out there was that when I went through my OneDrive for Business, I could see that I was actually still sharing stuff with people that I haven't been talking to for over a year. So that's where expiring sharing links makes a lot of sense, because if you're working together on a project, it could be school, it could be business, why not just share it for a month? And then when that's done, the sharing stops. So no more access to your things. You can add password protected sharing links as well now. So sending people a link, making sure that it's not somebody else that clicks it, then sending email and an email with a separate password is also really important. It could be PI data that you're sharing. It could just be that you're working with something that is very personal as well. Another thing, of course, is that this is what really enables you to install on all your devices. Cool thing about OneDrive is I have an iPhone myself. And of course, I use iCloud to back up my phone. But I really don't want to pay for more than that when it comes to iCloud. That's where I use OneDrive to back up all my photos and everything else that I use. And then I'll just use iCloud to back up my phone. So if this breaks and I need to set up a new phone, I can just take that backup straight from iCloud. So I don't have to pay that extra, since I already have a personal or a Microsoft 365 family subscription that I pay for my family to be working. That's where it really makes sense to have Office included as well. So let's talk about a thing that I mentioned a few times. PC folder backup. What is really cool, and this is something that has definitely helped me in the way I work. The way I work is that I use my desktop as a kind of working surface. So I have every month, like we just started June, I create a folder called June. It's really simple. Then everything I'm working on in that month, I put into that folder in, of course, there's a few subfolders depending on what it is. And it automatically gets updated or synced to my OneDrive. What was my main issue before was that I've always worked like that because I don't remember necessarily what I was working on, but I remember when I was working on it. That's how I at least work. So the cool thing by having this is that if I'm looking for, I know I did a webinar back in February with Tech Data as well. If I want to find that presentation, I just go to my OneDrive, find February, and then I have access to it. So what this is just that extra layer so you can update and back up anything you put on your desktop. You can back up your photos and your documents as well in a simple way. So you don't have to manually drag and drop into your OneDrive folder. It just keeps you safe in a really good way. I mentioned this about iCloud before. Cool thing to keep in mind, don't read too much into it, but OneDrive included in Microsoft 365 gives you a great value, to be honest. So if you're looking for more than one person and you might have to use some apps, it actually brings you great value on top of it and great security as well. These are, of course, US prices. They might change a bit in Sweden and Norway, Finland, and Denmark due to even within our little region here, we do have some price differences. But OneDrive brings you a great value, especially because it's included in your Office apps in a really simple way. So I mentioned this before as well, OneDrive. And I said, it doesn't really matter what you're working with, but OneDrive is actually what helps you keep everything on track here. Because that's what enables you to get productive no matter where as well, in a really simple way. Just get this one in here. So that is our bridge to talk about. One of the last few things I'll go through here, I think I sped through this a bit faster than expected, but I'm hoping that's okay. Selling Microsoft 365 actually enables you to put even more in your customer's basket. Because having a customer that says, well, I use Word a lot. Well, that's great. Wouldn't it make sense then to sell a mouse or a keyboard extra on top of a laptop? Or if they are working in Excel a lot, a mouse is definitely something that they need, or PowerPoint. Just it opens up some doors for you guys to sell even more to that customer actually. So think about it. Office enables a lot of different features, and it enables you guys to sell even more when you have the customer in store. And again, Office is not only for PCs, it's for phones, it's for tablets, and all those things. So when you have a customer in your store trying to buy, getting a new PC, why not make sure that they update their Microsoft as well, Microsoft 365 as well. You have an option when they're in the store to tell them that. You can share it on multiple devices. You have backup included. It is not included in this one. If you're running Office 2010, it's actually coming in as support. And on top of that, now that you're buying Office, wouldn't you need to get that external keyboard or an extra mouse to be even more productive? So that was it for me. Then I will, almost to 40-minute mark, then I will leave it over to Alexander so he can take it from here with some campaigns from Tech Data. And also if there's some questions in the chat, we can touch base with those as well.
Thank you very much, Thomas. That's brilliant. As of now, we don't have any questions. Vi ser website. Kommer byta lite till svenska här också. Glöm inte att vi har lite kampanjer kring de här produkterna på vår hemsida. På InTouch. Under meny och kampanjer. Och på software hittar ni bland annat att vi erbjuder 100 kronor rabatt på Office Home and Business 2019 för de som är traditionella som Thomas säger, eller 100 kronor rabatt då på Microsoft Business Standard som ersätter Office 365 Business Premium. Microsoft 365 Business Standard då som ja, i min smak är kanske den absolut värdefullaste bundlingen som innehåller OneDrive, Teams och övrigt. Vi belönar alla Microsoft 365 Business Standard köpt via FPP eller ESD med ett mediacard per köp, ett presentkort. Vi kommer såklart också att posta webbinariet via den här kampanjsidan. Här har vi det förra webbinariet, men det nya kommer att postas. And also, Thomas, great news in this week, both about the ransomware in OneDrive. Very impressive, new feature I didn't know about. And of course, family safety, I think is going to be a big one. And also the MS Word editor and the presenter coach in PowerPoint. Very impressive. And a lot of news, more than a name change, actually.
Definitely more than a name change.
Yeah.
So looking at it, we have this almost. It could be, you could say it's too like corpy, but we say new name, more features, same price, because we won't change the price of any of our offerings. It'll stay the same, but you just get more features. And I didn't say it, but all the old Office 365 users, personal and home and stuff like that, they automatically get upgraded to having Microsoft 365. So all the new features automatically just get pushed in without extra cost or anything, of course.
That is great. And also, I think I saw an old number about how many devices running old versions of Office still out there. I think
yes.
Do you have that number more updated? I think it was staggering.
Yeah, it was almost 1 million back in February.
Yeah.
I don't have an updated number, unfortunately, but there's a lot of people still running Office 2010 out there. And seeing that end of support will hit in October, yeah, might as well get in front of it, I guess.
So I guess that gives you, as a resellers, whoever listening in, all you resellers listening on this webinar, gives you an idea about the potential market, and that there's always room to sell a Microsoft 365 or an Office pack along with your device when you sell it. And now on, you can also apply it on multiple devices, even if you sell a tablet or a phone or a computer. So there's still a market to grow, which is great.
Absolutely.
And I think that concludes our webinar for today. Så jag önskar alla en fortsatt trevlig vecka, så håller vi kontakten såklart. Thank you very much, Thomas Peterson.
You're welcome, and thank you everyone for joining.